If you look at the responses there from right-wing populists, in the old days, what would have happened is, oh, ridiculous, look at this guy trying to cut the Pentagon. He's endangering us. We need to start more wars. The Pentagon has to be twice the size, 4 times the size, right? That would have been the old Republican talking points. And then Democrats would go, yes, oh, well, yeah, we'll double it even more than they will. And that's how it's been my entire lifetime. But you look at the comments in that section, actual MAGA, right-wing populists. These are not the leaders. I'm talking about people that are real people, okay? Going, wait a minute, that's a good suggestion. I like that suggestion a lot. Today, I get progressive reaction back going, no, you're falling for their trap. How dare you? Never work with MAGA. No, we've got Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney on our side. How does that help? Hey, other left-wingers out there, I love you, brothers and sisters, but do you remember the days when we used to be against Dick Cheney? You remember the days when we used to be against Liz Cheney? Did you see mainstream media? Right before the election, when they thought Kamala Harris was going to win, well, she's got to get a cabinet post. They got to have to give her Liz Cheney something. No, we don't. She's a neocon. She would increase the Pentagon. She would push for more wars, not less wars. That's not what the Democratic Party used to stand for.
I'm telling you guys, okay, MAGA Cenk is coming. And everyone's like, no, stop being ridiculous. Guys, is MAGA Cenk coming? Of course, no. But in all seriousness, in the last video, we did cover how Cenk Uygur, of all people, was offering on behalf of the Department of Government Efficiency and Elon Musk to run the Pentagon. He literally said, Elon, hey, put me in charge of the Pentagon. And, you know, the bingo card of Cenk here is absolutely insane. So, you know, let's think about what he's done the past couple years. He has challenged Joe Rogan to a fight in the octagon and said that he could win. He ran for president against Joe Biden, even though he was ineligible to be president. He destroyed Alan Lichtman's career on live TV. He also said today that he wants to buy MSNBC, okay? And now here he is trying to run the Pentagon on behalf of Elon. So I don't know, the guy's life is a movie. But with that said, I want to give a follow-up to this whole story, because if you missed it, he basically said, hey, Elon, put me in charge of the Pentagon. I'll slash $400 billion easily. That'll get you to your goal, blah, blah, blah. I went to Wharton 3 years before you. I own a media company, so I know how to run a business. If you really want to cut, put me in, coach. Because I'm sure that running a media company is so similar to running the Pentagon. But no, okay, let's not make too many jokes. You know, he did actually provide an idea here. So Elon Musk says specific suggestions are welcome. And then Cenk MAGA Uygur goes on to say, as you know, you need to see the line items in the budget, but I have one suggestion already. The generals are not allowed to get a job with defense contractors for 10 years. They authorize so much wasteful spending because they're going to get hired by those same companies. So this essentially is trying to crack down on the military industrial complex. And I said in the last video, I said, I actually support this. I hope they do this. You know, it doesn't really matter whether the credit there goes to Cenk or Elon or Trump. This is good policy for the country. And yes, it would help us reduce the spending in our government. But today's update is, guys, Donald Trump Jr., of all people, responded to Cenk here and says, this is a great idea that has been discussed. So there it is. Cenk MAGA Uygur. No, but he's trying to work with the Trump administration to crack down on corruption in the Pentagon. Now, understandably, look, there's two ways to view this. On one hand, it's simply just the fact that I guess you could argue Cenk has principles, right? Progressives for a very long time were saying we need to cut our defense spending. We need to target the military industrial complex. Of course, now, because Liz Cheney is a Democrat, they suddenly love the military industrial complex. But Cenk is, you know, obviously getting attacked by a lot of TYT fans for saying, how dare you work with the Trump administration? That's orange Hitler. How could you do this? But Cenk is, guys, doubling down on his little arc of trying to do some bipartisan work with the Trump administration. He says, while the left is yelling at me not to work with MAGA, here is Donald Trump Jr. saying we should limit generals from working for defense contractors. That's a policy we've been pushing for and gotten nowhere with Democrats on. Who cares who does it? As long as it gets done, Trump Jr. guys responds, a little common sense never killed anyone. So there you have it, okay? Cenk, you know, the crazy character. This guy is insane. But in a lot of ways, it's kind of iconic. It's kind of hilarious. He's trying to, you know, work with the Pentagon, essentially. But guys, I want to play for you. This is Cenk's own segment kind of following up and explaining what he was doing and actually pushing back against the leftists who said he should never have tried to do a bipartisan thing with Elon and the Trump administration to begin with. So guys, do us a big favor. If you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Why should you subscribe? Because it ensures we can keep bringing you these videos. We're trying to hit to 400K. Let's change the goal by the end of 2024. So be sure to hit that red button, support the channel. And with that said, here is Cenk explaining why he's putting on the MAGA hat. No, but in all seriousness, trying to work with the Trump administration on bipartisan anti-corruption policies. Let's check it out.
At that point, already some on the left are like, whoa, wait, you can't talk like that. I mean, that'll empower Elon Musk and the other guys. And then what if they cut the Pentagon? Oh, yeah, that's what I want, right? And you guys that watch the Young Turks, that's what we've asked for 22 straight years. So I would love.
I totally agree, by the way. See, this is the weird part where us and TYT agree, is we don't like the military-industrial complex. We don't like corruption in our government, you know, and I think we have different approaches of getting there. But on something like this, yes, objectively, okay, you should not be using the Pentagon as like a vehicle to just enrich the defense companies. You know, obviously you got a contract and stuff, but it's extremely corrupt. And that's been the case for a long time. Dick Cheney and Halliburton is the prime example of this, right? He was like the CEO of Halliburton, leaves to be the VP, and then coincidentally, when it comes to rebuilding Iraq and Afghanistan after the wars that the Bush administration started, who's getting those contracts? Halliburton, you know? So that's how it goes. So I agree, totally agree, by the way.
Of that. Oh, but then they'll get credit. Who cares? Of course I'll give credit to anybody who cuts the Pentagon or who does any right policy that saves American taxpayers money or gets the average man any kind of better situation. But then the shocking thing happened. Elon Musk responded. He said specific suggestions are welcome. Now I'm going to come back to why that's so important in a second. And okay, so I'll give you a preview real quick. It's not because, oh my God, there's a billionaire who responded to me. I'm so fascinated by that. Oh golly gee, I can't see straight anymore. I'm so naive. And boy, that right-wing pivot is about to come. Oh, you wouldn't want to cut the Pentagon, right?
No, your right-wing pivot is coming, Cenk. You're not ready. You're going to put on the MAGA hat. All right? A lot of your old friends have already done this. Just saying, okay? It's time. It's time, Cenk. You can do it. You can find the strength in you. Turn to the dark side. Let's go.
Progressives who've always claimed you wanted to cut the Pentagon. Okay, anyway, so he says this, and I said, okay, great. In fact, I didn't even realize he commented on the tweet until last night's show. One of the members pointed out, he's like, Cenk, you know, you responded. I was like, oh, I didn't. So then I went on and I said this after yesterday's show. As you know, you need to settle the line items see the line items in the budget. But I have one suggestion already. The generals are not allowed to get a job with defense contractors for 10 years. They authorize so much wasteful spending because they're going to get hired by those same companies. Now, here comes the interesting part, guys. If you go, and this is online, you can go check it out. If you look at the responses there from right-wing populists.
Let's go!
In the old days, what would have happened is, oh, ridiculous. Look at this guy trying to cut the Pentagon. He's endangering us. We need to start more wars. The Pentagon has to be twice the size, 4 times the size, right? That would have been the old Republican talking points. And then Democrats would go, yes, oh, yeah, we'll double it even more than they will. And that's how it's been my entire lifetime. But you look at the comments in that section, actual MAGA, right-wing populists. These are not the leaders. I'm talking about people that are real people, okay? Going, wait a minute, that's a good suggestion. I like that suggestion a lot.
I do.
In fact, why are we making it 10 years? Why don't we make it 20 years? And somebody else says, why don't we make it a lifetime ban? If you're a United States general, you serve the people of America, you should be intensely proud to be a general that protects us. But if you say, no, I don't care as much about that as I do about cashing in with defense contractors afterwards, well, then don't be a general, okay? So super easy fix for you guys. So if MAGA says, you know what, Let's ban the generals from ever working for the military-industrial complex so that they are fair and honest when they're inside the Pentagon. You got a deal. Okay, let's go old school Turkish style, all right? And shake on it. So that's the spitting part. That's not really a Turkish thing. It's fun. It's actually an old Western thing.
See, but I know Cenk on some level understands this, but a lot of his populist ideas, forget, maybe certain economic or social policies, but the anti-corruption stuff really has more of a home on the right nowadays than the left. And that's because of the political realignment. Right, because Trump sort of like took populism and made it into he ran as the Republican candidate. It's more so the conservatives nowadays, or at least like the MAGA conservatives who are serious about this type of stuff, draining the swamp, fighting the corruption. And because the Democrat Party, who used to be kind of more on that side, got so unhinged against Trump that it forced them to essentially defend everything the establishment does. And that's, when you turn on MSNBC or MSDNC, I should say, what do you hear? Everything the government does is great. There's no corruption in our country. You should trust Liz Cheney. You should trust the military-industrial complex. You should trust the government agencies because Donald Trump questions them. So, Cenk, ask yourself for a moment. Don't you want to put on the MAGA hat? I'm just saying. He wants to. Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is to be we're trying to work with Trump, okay? Yes, Cenk. Okay, we can do it. We need
Okay. So, anyways, and today I get progressive reaction back going, no, you're falling for their trap. How dare you? Never work with MAGA. Now, did you know Elon's a billionaire? Did you know he's a donor? Yeah, I've only said it about 200 times on the show, maybe more. Okay, guys, the Democratic Party has never asked any progressive in the base, in any of the online shows, any of you guys ever, hey, what's your suggestion? Oh, we're open to hearing what you think. They're always like, no, you will support Hillary Clinton. She is the anointed one, and she will increase the Pentagon, and you will like it, right?
Dude, Cenk is so funny, okay? Everyone's like, why do you react to him so much? Because he's so entertaining. I enjoy it. But, he's pointing out a genuine point. Trump listens to his base. The Democrat politicians, the Democrat candidates for the past several cycles by now have not. Just something to consider, Cenk. I'm just saying, I'm just saying.
But could we have a tiny suggestion? Hey, could the generals not sell us out when, and I'm not talking generally, and I'm not saying, oh, Milley was a bad guy. No, none of that. I'm not going in that Trump direction. I'm just saying they have an obvious conflict of interest. Yes. Because they almost all work for the military-industrial complex afterwards.
Yes, they do.
So of course they're going to want to give those same companies that they're going to be hired by billions of dollars in contracts.
Yep.
Can we please stop that? No, you must listen to Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and shut up and comply, right?
That wasn't an imitation. That was he got possessed by a Democrat Party consultant. Okay, so there it is. The DNC chair was that soul possessed his body just then. That is actually the way the Democrat Party behaves.
So here for the first time, it's so embarrassing that Elon Musk is saying, hey, do you have any suggestions? Before any Democratic leader does, especially to a person who's running. Look, guys, this isn't about bragging. And so if you want to, somebody else will say, oh, no, we're larger. I don't care. Go ahead. Become larger. I don't mind. I want our message to get out. And if somebody else does it more effectively, fantastic. Okay. But for the moment being, and for the last 20 years, we've been the largest left-wing show online. 27 million subscribers, 29 billion lifetime views. We're going to be around 30 billion by about Thanksgiving. We'll celebrate together, okay? And no Democratic leader thought, I wonder if I should go on the Young Turks. I wonder if I should ask the Young Turks. And again, it's not about us. Well, okay, ask one of the other shows. Go on the other shows. Do something.
So look, in the spirit of just like laughing at Cenk, we could just kind of be like, you don't get any access. But no, there is a legitimate point in this, which is TYT does have 6 million subscribers on YouTube. Cenk is right. It's one of, if not the biggest left-wing internet thing out there. And I will just say that if you had a conservative channel of 6 million subscribers, it would be very unlikely that a top Republican figure would ignore the outlet, right? You would definitely see an Elon or a Trump or a JD Vance at least, or some type of interview during the cycle, you know? Because nowadays, and this is not just, I'm not talking about the traditional GOP, but the Trump GOP, yes, is a lot more open to the internet space. They understood it, as you could tell, better than Kamala Harris and the Democrats did in 2024. And Cenk does have a legitimate point, which is he's a Democrat, you know, he caucuses with their party, whatever. You would think that a platform this big, you know, Kamala Harris should have been on it. Joe Biden should have been on it, you know, but again, it's because they have like so little regard for actually talking to anyone outside of MSNBC and CNN. Like that's all that the Democrats care to do, you know? So the point here is Cenk, you're on the wrong side. No, but I mean, I'm just saying,
do something, represent your base. Just try to care about your base 1%, right? No, we've got Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney on our side.
Base?
How does that help? Hey,
it doesn't.
Other left-wingers out there, I love you, brothers and sisters, but do you remember the days when we used to be against Dick Cheney? You remember the days when we used to be against Liz Cheney?
Yeah.
I appreciate Liz Cheney calling out Trump on January 6th in the election, et cetera, but that doesn't mean we have to hand the party over to her. Did you see mainstream media? Right before the election, when they thought Kamala Harris was going to win, well, she's got to get a cabinet post. They got to have to give her Liz Cheney something. No, we don't. She's a neocon. She would increase the Pentagon. She would push for more wars, not less wars. That's not what the Democratic Party used to stand for. And that's definitely not what the left wing stands for. And in no way, shape, or form does the populist left agree with that. So look, I'm not saying Elon's definitely going to do it. Are you crazy? I'm not saying Trump is definitely going to do it. What I'm saying is, hey, now we're all watching. Left-wing populists, right-wing populists. Are you guys going to do the thing that you promised? Are you actually going to be anti-war? Are you actually going to cut the Pentagon? Or this is a lot of loose talk, and at the end of the day, all you're going to do is corporate tax cuts and deregulation and leave the military-industrial complex alone? Well, I don't know. I can't answer that question, but Donald Trump and Elon Musk can. So now...
So it sounds like what Cenk has been saying the entire time with Liz Cheney and all of that is, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. No, but, you know, in all seriousness, okay, there is a world where the populist left and the populist right are able to unite and say we need to take down corruption in our government and actually like restore a government where there's 3 chambers of government, not 4, right? That's totally a timeline that exists somewhere. The problem I think we've historically had on that front, and why I'm so skeptical of this whole idea of the left-right populist alliance, is first of all, we would have totally different visions of what to do with the country once we win, first of all. But even on the practical front of just trying to work together, I mean, it's like we can never get along for 2 seconds. You know, that's just the truth. Like, we're constantly fighting with TYT, whatever. But you know what? In an example like this, I mean, like, there you have it, okay? It's like the politics has realigned, and to some degree, on some issues, yes, there are things that the so-called populist left and the so-called populist right do kind of agree on. And one of Trump's big strategies in this election was actually building that coalition, right? Take the old school anti-establishment left-wing people like RFK Jr., like Tulsi Gabbard, like Elon Musk, even, I would argue, and come together and say, okay, let's unite on things like war or corruption or the food and health, all that stuff, right? And it was very effective. So if that can last, and if Cenk wants to be a part of that, you know, like, whatever. I'm sure in about like 2 weeks, we're going to do a video reacting to him where he's melting down over Trump again. So, you know, whatever. Okay. But I'm just saying something to consider. I you know, and props honestly to Cenk for proposing a genuinely good idea for our government is all I'm going to say. Now, should he be in charge of the Pentagon? Probably not, right? But, you know, if he has suggestions like Elon Musk said, and they're good suggestions, yeah, I have no issue taking the TYT idea because it's a good idea. It's something we've agreed on. Again, So with that said, though, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Is MAGA Cenk on the way? Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, God bless and peace.